Hey there, you're listening to BD4, where there's no better way to get your Yankees and Knicks analysis. Yanks every series, Knicks every game, and MMA on occasion. Here's your host, RJ Carbone.
And a high drive into left center field. Stanton's going to watch another one fly. Are you kidding me? DiVincenzo a three. Bang! Bang! Knicks take a
Take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody.
At the wall. See ya! See ya! See ya! Mr. Nova!
Anthony for three. Bang! That one goes down and the game is tied.
Rose, you shook up the world again.
I did it again. But God did it, man. I really just had
Gonna have to. Brunson running away. Oh my! He has been the best player to put on that uniform.
Ball game over. Yankees win. The Yankees win.
Okay, the Yankees lose. They lose 2 out of 3 to the Rays in Yankee Stadium. We're not going to waste time. You know how this works. Welcome to the show, episode 858 of BD4. Thanks for tuning into the podcast. This episode will be, or I should say is, as it's out now, is audio only. So it will be on all platforms like always, but it's just no video. Because quite frankly, I don't have the energy to make up graphics and really sit in front of a camera to talk about this godforsaken team right now. Because the Yankees continue to play poor baseball and they continue to lose a lot of games, which they have this season. This was a very sloppy series, extremely sloppy in the infield. They had no clue how to catch the ball, throw the ball, looked like last year all over again. You know, throwing to the wrong base, dropping balls, not fielding balls cleanly, errors at shortstop, first base, backstop. It was, quite frankly, disgusting. The hitting was bad. The Yankees, outside of today, which still wasn't great, were not hitting the ball situationally. Runners in scoring position was an issue, and nobody was really big getting any kind of producing any kind of productive at-bats, for lack of a better word. So that was also disgusting. And then the starting pitching. Obviously outside of Friday, was absolutely putrid, I guess you could say. I guess putrid is the best way to describe it. So, as I said, you know the drill. And what we're going to do is dive into this series. On Friday, Game 1, this was the lone victory of the series, which I could really care less to talk about now that they lost 2 out of 3. But this was their rare win where they picked up a 3-0 victory over the Rays. It was Fried going up against the righty Pepio. The Yankee bats, 3 runs on 6 hits, 4 extra base hits, 4 walks, and they went 1 for 9 with runners in scoring position. Their only offense came in the bottom of the 5th inning. You had Jorbit Vivas pick up a 4-pitch leadoff walk. Judge picked up a 1-out double to put runners on the corners. That's what knocked Pepio out of the game. And then with Montgomery in, Goldschmidt with a 2-out, 3-run home run, starting to hit bombs lately, which is good, puts the Yanks up 3-0. So Goldschmidt went 2 for 4 with 3 RBIs. Judge went 2 for 4, double, triple. Volpe goes 1 for 3 with a walk. We'll talk about him for sure. Ben Rice goes 1 for 4 with a double. That was pretty much, and Vivas drew 2 walks in his major league debut. That was pretty much your offense. Max Fried threw another gem. We'll get to that later. Devin Williams pitched the 8th inning in his new role. 1 inning, no runs, 1 strikeout. Weaver got the 9th. He was great again. That was Friday's game. That was all the fun because Saturday was disgusting. The Yanks lost 3-2. It was Yarborough against Zach Littell, the righty. Yarbrough filled in for Clark Schmidt, who was a late scratch. He's due to pitch Tuesday. He goes 4 innings, 1 run, 1 hit, 3 walks, couple of strikeouts, 64 pitches, and a no decision in his open start, whatever you want to call it. He continues to pitch well for the Yankees in whatever they're asking him to do. He's provided flexibility, whether it's be a punt man, an opener, whatever. Offensively, just 2 runs on 5 hits, 2 home runs, no walks, 4 strikeouts, and they were 0 for 1 with runners in scoring position, which tells you how little they got on base. They did not walk once in this game. They had 5 hits, 2 of them were homers, 3 of them were singles. They struck out 4 times. They just were producing weak contact. It was just the bottom of the first inning when Judge hits the solo bomb, and then the bottom of the 5th inning in a tie game, Austin Wells gives the Yanks the lead, real briefly, 2-1. Hamilton comes into the 5th inning. 1 inning, no runs, 3 strikeouts, 2-seam slider sequence, looking better and better as we go along here. It's filthy to righties. I was going to say Nelson Cruz. Fernando Cruz pitches Cruz pitched 6th and 7th. So he goes 2 innings, no runs, 1 strikeout. Tim Hill pitched the 8th, and Tim Hill pitched the 9th. He finishes with an inning and 2/3, no runs, 1 strikeout. So he came in after Mark Leiter blew the game in the 8th inning. Leiter comes in. It's a 2-1 Yankee lead, and he completely flushes it. Now, it wasn't all his fault. He does let the leadoff hitter on. A couple of guys. So, it was part of his fault. Morrill gets the leadoff base hit. He hangs a curveball to him. And then he walks Brandon Lau on 9 pitches. And then it's Curtis Mead with an RBI base hit with 1 out. It was a bad sinker to tie the game. And then I think that's when Volpe made that play. Or didn't. Volpe makes the E6. Again, he continues to have trouble ranging to his left. He has issues fielding balls cleanly right over second base. So he botches another one. His shortstop has been dreadful of late. And it's 2-1 Tampa Bay. All of a sudden, the Yankees don't recover. So Leiter goes an inning or a third of an inning, gives up 2 runs on 2 hits, 1 walk and error, and he takes the much-deserved loss. I believe he leads the league in blown saves now. And his ERA went from the high 2s to a 3.95. So there's that. And that was Saturday. Sunday, today, the Yankees lose. What was the final score? 7-5. It was Will Warren against the righty Bradley. Oh boy. Will Warren goes 4 1/3, gives up 5 runs, 3 earned runs, 7 hits allowed, 1 of them a home run, walks 3 guys, strikes out 8. Yes Network wanted you to know that. Threw 102 pitches, got the much-deserved loss. I try my best to be reasonable, and I've been on the Will Warren train again ever since really the offseason. I've been kind of giving him a second chance, and he looked great in spring training. He had a great camp, at least to start off. This kid's not good for who is supposed to be your number 1 pitching prospect in the system. Right? And what really continues to bother me about these Yankee arms, you hear all the time about the Yankees like this pitching prospect, and some guy comes along and his name starts to get some notoriety, and he builds up a fan base. Everybody's talking about this top prospect, right? It's Ben Hess, it's Cam Schlitter, it's this guy, it's that guy. This has been a thing forever. And then that guy comes up here and he throws 92. And I know, it's all about location. And if you can't locate, 99 means nothing. But we are in 2025. And maybe if the Yankees had some velocity on their pitching staff, I wouldn't be as frustrated with this problem. But the fact that they're bottom third, I think they're even like 25th or worse. At one point in the season, they were 30th in velocity. That's when I start to sit here and I'm getting really annoyed. The fact that, like, whether it's in their bullpen or whether it's in their rotation, none of these guys throw hard. And I think Will Warren is a guy who just might belong in the bullpen. A couple of weeks ago, we did an episode talking about him, and I said, I think his ceiling is a number 3, and I think his floor is somebody who pitches out of the bullpen. And I got shit for that by somebody on Instagram. I don't know why, but I think Will Warren, I think his stuff is way too underwhelming to be a starting pitcher. He doesn't have good enough stuff to get outs third time through. I know you hearing about the spin on all of his pitches and they grade out as above average. If you're not fooling major league bats, I don't know that they're that good pitches. I look at his arsenal and I see inconsistencies everywhere. His sweeper, while not right now, I do think is probably the only pitch that I think has potential to be elite. Everything else, like, he's not made progress against lefties. He doesn't have the stuff to get outs third time through. He doesn't have the stuff to get lefties out. I think he's made for the bullpen. You throw him in the bullpen, the sweeper can help him get outs. Righty on righty reliever, something like that. But the guy still cannot figure out a way to neutralize a left-handed hitter to save his life. And today, the Tampa Bay lefties were having a field day with Will Warren. He was throwing batting practice. The second inning, the bottom of the order is up, and he cannot record a single out. Jankowski, light-hitting lefty, picks up a one-out single on a two-seam, middle low. Then the lefty Ben Rortvedt comes up, who's batting $170. No, he's batting 70. He draws a walk because Warren can't locate the four-seam fastball. And then Taylor Walls, who just might be the worst hitter in baseball, drives in a run on a fielder's choice, puts the ball in play on Warren. It's 1-0 Tampa. Top of the third inning. The lefty Aranda hits a solo home run on a 93-mile-an-hour fastball, middle up. Again, it's all about location. But if you miss with 99 versus missing with 93, there's a margin for error there. That might not happen. 2-0 Tampa. Fourth inning. Again, Jankowski and Walls, base hits. Brandon Lowe, RBI base hit, 4-0 Tampa. Diaz, right-handed bat, picks up the RBI, 5-0. But today, Tampa Bay's lefties against Will Warren went 5 for 16, which is a .313 batting average. 1 home run. They also drew 3 walks, so they were getting on base against Will Warren. Over 50, so 5 hits, 16 at-bats, 3 walks, so 6, 7, 8 out of 19 times they reached safely. That's over 420 on-base percentage. They drove in all 5 runs, or 5 of their 7 runs came from lefties. Tampa Bay's righties were 2 for 20 against Warren. It's a 100 batting average. No extra base hits, no walks, no RBIs. He can't neutralize lefties. The guy's not good enough to make starts at the major league level. You tried it last year. You're trying it this year. It's not working. Not right now. I think he belongs in the pen. I think at this point, you are losing critical games. You can't keep giving away games 2 out of every 5 days. And I think what you saw today when the Yankees went to Carrasco in relief is them setting up for the month of May to go to a 4-man staff. Because with the way that some of these days off line up, you're going to be able to do that. And I think that's why they have Schmidt going Tuesday. So you might start seeing some more 4 times through the order, through the rotation in these next couple of weeks here in May. But, like, what other options do you have, right now? Because nobody's making trades in May. I don't know that your system is going to get much different results. Again, I don't like. People want Ben Hess. People want Cam Schlitter. Are these guys ready? Who's to say these guys aren't going to come up and do the same? Are these guys all going to come up here and throw 92 as well? Like, do they have stuff that can at least generate outs? Hitters are sitting on Warren's off speed because they know he likes to go to the fastball late in the count, and his fastball's not good. His fastball is 92 and less. So he does a terrible job keeping the Yankees in it. The Yankee bats, on their way to a horrible game, end up salvaging it numbers-wise. 5 runs on 8 hits, couple of extra base hits, 7 walks, 4 strikeouts, 3 double plays grounded into, though. They were 4 for 11 with runners in scoring position, left 7 on base. The only offense, though, came in garbage time. So it was really a terrible day to play. Like, bottom of the 6th, they were down 5-0 before Bellinger hit that 2-run homer off Bradley. Bottom of the 8th, they're down 7-2. Come alive too little too late, right? You have the Goldschmidt RBI base hit off of Englert, 7-3. Then Jorbit Vivas with the pinch hit, 2-run base hit off of Uceta. Is that how you say his name? To make it 7-5. But bottom 9, the Yankees, top of the order, goes down pathetically, if that's a word, 1-2-3. So, early on they had some chances, but they were atrocious again in getting those runners in. The first couple of innings, they had leadoff walks, but they got nothing. Third inning, 2 singles to begin the inning. They got nothing. Nobody was out. 1-2-3. Like, they were bad. And you know what? You can't fully blame talentless players for being talentless, because you look at the lineup that Boone put out there. This was a punt day. You got Warren on the mound. You have Jazz and Volpe down. You got a game that might be rained out. It seemed like Boone was just like, fuck it, let's just give these guys a day of rest. So he sits 3 of his lefties against the right-handed pitcher going. Not to mention there was no Jorbit Vivas until later either. Another lefty. So he chose to go with Pablo Reyes against the righty. Go with the righty on righty. Bum. And so the bottom of the 8th comes. You got the bases loaded, nobody out against a right-handed relief pitcher in a 4-run game. You have a chance to do something here. And Boone sticks with J.C. Escara over Ben Rice. Ends up grounding into a double play, no runs scored. Now the Yankees had a script, right? He ended up going to Rice for Cabrera. Rice draws a walk. Now they asked Boone about it, and they had a plan. He said about the Escara thing, he's the guy that's been here, and he's more experienced, which is why he wasn't going to pinch hit Jorbit Vivas. I think that's a load of crap, because how much more experience does Escara have over Vivas? The guy's been here, a month, a couple of weeks. He didn't want to burn through his bench because Volpe wasn't available. Wells didn't even get in that bat. Get the lead first before you start worrying about the other crap. That's what I say. There was no reason that Wells or Rice shouldn't have gotten that at bat with the bases loaded, nobody else. You gave that to a backup rookie hitting catcher. Crazy. Real briefly, let's go over who we're tipping our caps to. Among the position players, I got to tip my cap to Aaron Judge. He now has 5 tips of the cap this year. He continues to hit. What do you have? 3 doubles in the series. He had a triple in there, hit a home run again. So he's starting to bring the power around. He's doing so good that he entered today's game batting .432. He goes just 1 for 5, and it tanked his average all the way down to .423. So it dropped 9 points, which means that's how good you have to be doing to sustain a .430 average. Like, if you don't get like 2 hits and 4 at-bats or 3 and 5, you're going to go down. Like Aaron Judge could go 2 for 5 tomorrow and his average will dip again. That's how good he's been doing. He's been a doubles machine this year. He has, how many doubles on the year does he have? You know, everybody's talking about the batting title. Everybody's talking about Triple Crown and this and that. It would be pretty cool to see Aaron Judge put up a 40-40 homer double year. He has 9 doubles. Last year he had 36. Didn't realize that. And you love the fact that Aaron Judge this season isn't really striking out. He's only striking out 31 times in 153 plate appearances. That's better than league average. That's a 20% K rate. League average sits about 23%. This is a guy who used to be completely vulnerable to right-handed sliders. He's laying off that shit. He spits on that so easily. I mean, watching this guy develop into the hitter he's been, and he was a great hitter from, his rookie season, but he's just become from a great hitter to, a guy who's arguably the best right-handed hitter of all time. That's pretty freaking crazy to watch. You're watching that play out all in front of your eyes. And I am blessed as a New York sports fan to be able to watch guys like Brunson and to be able to watch guys like Judge in the same time span. That's crazy to me. Getting off topic. 5 tips of the cap for Aaron Judge this year. Go back to Friday. Going to the mound, I want to tip my cap to the only starting pitcher in this series who gave you a credible effort. Right? It was Warren who shit the bed, and then, no, you know what? Yarbrough was fine, but, he's not a real starter. On Friday, Max Fried goes 7 innings, no runs, 1 hit, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts, and he gets the win. Kind of the same conversation when every time we bring up Max Fried. He's a soft contact machine. He's a ground ball machine. That 4-seam fastball was getting weak contact all night, as was the curveball. Continues to drop that pitch into righty's back door. The 2-seam was getting weak contact. The changeup worked for him late in the game. 7th inning, he was going to it against Tampa Bay's righties. Got some swings and misses. Capped off an excellent night. 10 ground ball outs overall. The guy's a legitimate ace. He's got a 1.01 ERA on the season. And I would love to know what his ERA is after opening day. You take that start out. But the guy's a legitimate ace. He's for real. Now, you didn't send him back out for the 8th. 92 pitches. Would have been cool. You had a lead. Your bullpen's been good. This is a guy who's been injured in the past. He's a veteran starting pitcher. You're invested in him long term. So I can't fully blame the manager for that. But Max Fried continues to dominate. Gets his 6th cap tip of the year. Going to the bullpen, I'm going to tip my cap. It was going to be between Cruz or Weaver, and I ended up choosing Weaver. Friday, in the 9th inning, after Max Fried comes out of the game, it's Williams, and then after Williams, it's Luke Weaver. He pitches the 9th, gets the save, 1 inning, no runs, no base runners. He strikes out 2 on 11 pitches, where 9 of them were strikes. So he was using less off speed, didn't go to his changeup as much, and he was dominating with his fastball. Against Simpson, he got him to line out to right field. It was 96 up and in. Against Diaz, he gets him striking out looking on 3 pitches. He goes cutter for strike 1, and he throws a couple of 4-seam fastballs at 95 on the outer edge of the plate to get to strike 3. Ends the game with a strikeout. Gets Cameron swinging. 1-1 fastball at 96 middle of the plate. Gets a whiff, 1-2 count. Then he goes 96 high and in for the swing and miss, strike 3. Game over. So it's nice to see the velocity back up, and lately it's been around 96, which is a positive sign. But it's been the location with Luke Weaver that's just been incredible all season, right? Even when he started the season off the first couple of weeks when he was only throwing 93, his location was still on point, which is why he was still getting outs then. Because his off-speed was playing off of that great location, and it helped for pitch tunneling and sequencing. So the guy is just commanding everything right now, and he's on another tear. Like he's on I mean, the Yankees have some guys with some ridiculous numbers. When you talk about Judge's batting average and the ERAs of Max Fried and Luke Weaver, like, they have some guys having some really good seasons. So Luke Weaver, somehow it's only his second tip of the cap all year, but he's been absolutely dominant all year. So good for him. Good for him, but are the Yankees good? Are the Yankees even good? I'm having trouble. I'm having trouble remaining optimistic. As this team continues to lose series, I'm really having problems figuring out if they're a contender. And I know they have some gaudy numbers, and the offensive production this season has led the team to a lot of their 19 wins. But right now, that seems very skewed. It seems skewed, and it seems a bit unsustainable because it's just been a couple of guys who've been lights out, and then everybody else has been horrid. Basically. Like, the overall numbers with the lineup look good. The runs scored, the batting average, the slash line, on base, slug, OPS, etc. But how many guys, what's the quantity of guys that are actually contributing consistently? Because it's important for a team that's trying to win a World Series. And I know batting average isn't everything. So when you look at the team in terms of like OPS plus and WRC plus, 1 to 9, they've got a lot of those guys who are above league average. But it's not consistent. That's why you still got to watch with your eyes. You can't sit here and tell me that they have 9 guys going, because you're going to get laughed at. They've got Judge, who's been obviously the best hitter in the game. They've got Goldschmidt, who I think is right beneath him in second in batting average, or was. They've got Ben Rice, who's doing his thing. They've got Trent Grisham, who's still hitting. He had a couple more today. And they have a couple of other guys who are doing some things, like Wells has given you some power, some production, but he's been up and down. Same thing with Anthony Volpe, but he's injured right now. And then you have a bunch of guys contributing basically zero. Like Jazz, I don't care about the power numbers. He's been an atrocity. And now he's injured. And it's going to be a minute. Jason Dominguez has been inconsistent. He's only hitting from the left side of the plate, and the Yankees refuse to let go of that gimmick, that he's a switch hitter. Bellinger, I know he's been better lately. He had the home run today. Needs to pick it up. Cabrera, that's an unserious, everyday third baseman. I'll keep saying that. There's no pop, and now the average is starting to drop, so what use is he offensively for you? He's a platoon player. Pablo Reyes wouldn't have a job if it weren't for the Yankees. He should be thanking Cashman. Oswald Peraza can't hit. Never could. Can't hit. Can't hit. So, guys need to start picking it up soon. You want to talk about this team as a World Series threat? I mean, you got to start. You need guys to chip in. They're not supposed to just be a contender. They're not supposed to just be good. And it's May. I get it. The first half of the season is about finding out who you are. Second half is when you get a real true testament of baseball. But every single game does count no matter when. And you have a tough San Diego Padre team coming up. And then you have a West Coast trip. You know how those go. And then you're coming home to host your little sisters. So that's a stretch right there where the Yankees could get really ugly if they're not careful. It's been a pretty bad start to the season considering they're in arguably the worst division in baseball. They're sitting at 19-15, and they're fortunate enough to be in first place. But, yeah, looking at that stretch and at some of these injuries, like Jazz, let's be honest, he's going to be out maybe a few months. It's an oblique, guys. When the Yankees say 4 to 6 weeks, you know what that means. I'm looking at the second half. Not going to lie. I'm looking at June. I'm looking at July. I'm looking at July as a possibility. So his, he wants that 30-30 season. No, that's gone. Anthony Volpe, day-to-day right now. Would you be shocked if that ends up being a DL stint? Sounded very bad. Looked bad, sounded bad when he talked about it popping. We'll see. Seems like that's something that could really mess up your swing. We've seen it with Yankees in the past. Could be a long-term thing. Could be a long-term thing. So the fact that the Yankees are now, just because of a couple of injuries, are constantly going to have to rely on not only Warren and Carrasco, but Cabrera and Reyes and Peraza. That's a scary thought. Vivas tells you all you need to know about the poor planning in the offseason, where the Yankees always seem to do just enough to appease the casual fan, but in reality, they're sitting on their money, and they could have done a lot more, but they didn't. I wanted Jose Quintana for $4 million. I would have accepted Jorge Polanco for $8 million. Forget the big, scary, expensive players that the poor, financially strapped Yankees can't afford, right? There were decent, above-average players that could have given you better insurance than the trash you have right now. So this is what I was worried about after losing number 22. Everyone was like, "Oh, the lineup, the depth. They're gonna be able to replenish without number 22 by adding 3 or 4 guys who are well above." Where's that been? Where's that been? That's what I was trying to tell everybody. It doesn't work like that. Hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully it's May and I'm talking out of my ass right now, but I don't know. I'm having a hard time finding optimism in a lot of areas right now. How are you going to get back? I know Heel's going to come back. Maybe Schmidt finds it. But, Heel's not due back until the second half. So, can you trust Rodon to keep this up? Because you need him. Outside of Max Fried, you need Rodon to be your second ace. Every team needs a second ace. 1B, whatever you want to call it. I think the bullpen will be good. But, yeah, there are some bad thoughts going through my mind after this series. But with that said, I think that's all I have. So what we're going to do, we're going to head to our final break here, get back, and then wrap this episode up with our trivia question of the day here in episode 858. Be right back. BD4 is available on social media for those who want to follow. You can find BD4 on Instagram at BD4Pod. You can find us on X at BD4Pod. And you can find us on Facebook by simply searching BD4. Hey guys, just a quick reminder, this podcast is also available in video format on YouTube. So be sure to go over to the YouTube channel, BD4, subscribe, like the videos, comment and tell me how much I suck or maybe how much you like the video. We'd very much appreciate it. Don't have time to sit down and watch a video? You can listen to BD4 on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Don't forget to give us a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts. And you can also watch the video format on Spotify too. If you feel like supporting the podcast, you can Venmo at Robert-Carbone-JR-28. We really appreciate your support. Do you enjoy Yankees baseball but are tired of hearing me yap? I have a suggestion for you. Go check out Yankee Crazy Podcast. Greg Gill is a Yankees podcaster on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and he's now selling merch. Go to yankeecrazy.myshopify.com. Stay connected with us. Visit BD4blog.com to explore our blog, tune into our latest podcasts, and follow us on social media. Thank you for being a part of this community. Okay, welcome back to the show. I did forget to bring one thing up. Jorbit Vivas, I am a little excited to see what he can bring. He's not, he's kind of a light hitter. He's not a power hitter or anything like that, but he is a guy who can make contact with the ball. I think that's what makes him have some value to this team. On a team that does strike out a lot, on a team that does hit a lot of home runs. Vivas isn't really a guy who's going to help you on the bases. He's not really a guy who's going to bring versatility defensively or anything like that. He's basically just a second baseman. He's a smaller guy, not much of an arm, not much range. His bat is intriguing because we've only seen a small sample at the big league level. I do like that he seems to have a plan. A couple of walks and a base hit today. It was a pretty big one. He's known for his bat-to-ball skills. And I've heard some comparisons that he's like a lighter version of Torres. So that would be something to keep an eye on as I don't know. I don't know what he's going to project to be. I need to learn more about him. I don't have any scouting report on him right now, but just from some of the things I did hear about him in the past, I'm trying to remember if I know anything else about him. But yeah, he's can he come up here and get some hits during this time where Volpe and Chisholm especially are going to be out a while. We'll see. With that said, let's get to our trivia to wrap this damn thing up, because I don't want to talk about this godforsaken team right now. So for this episode, our trivia question: name 2 of the 4 Yankees pitchers who led the American League in ERA in the 1950s. I think we might have done this one before, but it's hard to keep track. Name 2 of the 4 Yankees pitchers who led the American League in ERA in the 1950s. All right, let me know the answer wherever you can reach me. Folks, that's it. Appreciate it very much. And with that said, at about 38 minutes here, we're going to wrap it up. I'll see you guys very soon. Yankees-Padres coming up. This team's not good. That team's very good. So expect the worst. Well, if you made it this far, that means you listened to or watched the entire episode. Thank you. Just remember to follow, subscribe, download, rate and review, and all that fun stuff to help out the podcast. And I will see you in the next episode of BD4.